Welcome to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast that talks about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm Sean, and with my fellow American Rodney, we break down the good, the bad, and the just plain weird. It's quite the journey, so join us for the ride. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Boom, 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 boom. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Boom, boom, boom. It's gonna be a bright and sunshiny day.
Hey, are we getting better, or is it just me? I mean, I thought, well, no.
It's probably you, but we're getting better anyway. We're getting better.
Right on.
The rain clouds have lifted. I was worried this week, man, when it hit, I don't know what it was, a high of 8 or something on Thursday. I'm like, guys, we're going the wrong direction. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. It's like they let you in just enough, and then.
But then the skies have parted. It's clear blue as far as the eye can see, at least for today and tomorrow. Highs of around 20 Celsius. Let's go to Rodney for the traffic report.
Ooh. Sean, hey, Sean. Well, everything's looking pretty good up here on E4 coming into Stockholm, and the clouds are. Hey, it's kind of like those cool blue cough drops where it's like blue, but it's still slightly chilly, kind of menthol chill in the air.
Yes. I like where you're going with this.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's the skies today, but there's still kind of that slight. There's that slight no halter tops, or
Oh yeah. Well, it depends. If you're in the sun, you can bake, man. You can bake.
That's true. Because a long time ago, we figured out that Sweden at this time of year is closer to the sun, right? Isn't that like the global
surprise?
The global positioning.
No. Now it's almost the summer solstice, so I think we're far away now. But I don't know. You have to call up Neil deGrasse Tyson for that one.
I will go ahead. But hey, do you think he wants to be on the podcast?
Well, you got him on speed dial, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, we took a trip up to the city. We were kind of in your neck of the woods almost.
You don't say.
Yes, I do say. Lena got her first shot today.
Woo!
Yeah, and it was... But it was up in... And it's called Slakthusområdet. And it's...
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's over by... Okay, no clue.
Not a clue.
Yeah, exactly, right over there. And it is kind of behind Globen, but since Globen is round, that's kind of a weird way to put it.
Well, it's not Globen anymore.
No, it's right next
Avicii.
It's on the flip side of Avicii's arena. There is Slakthus. It is like a butcher. I don't know if that's traditionally or what it was. I assume that's what it must have been way back when. In like old Stockholm.
What, like where they would process meat and all that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a really cool area. And I'd only been back there like 1 or 2 times. But today, like, beautiful day. We're on our way over to get her shot. And there's a bunch of like, I can't remember what you call them, but like little art studio type stuff.
Oh, yeah, like little galleries, or where artists are actually creating stuff.
Yeah, well, it feels like that kind of area. Like, because there was one building that was like completely graffitied, and then you had like a little coffee shop.
Really? Good to know. Good to know.
I told Lena that we need to go back and just kind of do an exploration kind of day.
Yeah, honestly, if there is a butcher shop in there, I'd love to find out about it.
Yeah.
We got spoiled on that living in London for a year, where we had our local,
Right.
And when you wanted to go, you wanted to have a steak night on the weekend or something like that, like your little splurge once a month. You could get anything there. And the people behind the counter, traditional butcher shop people, probably 3rd generation into the business, and they would know everything.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, how do I cook this? Oh, well, what you do? You have to pair it with this wine, and then you have a little herb butter. Like, it's amazing. Amazing experience. So.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. It would be cool to. I mean, those places are falling by the wayside. We had a place down here in
Yeah.
Nynäshamn, and I knew them, and because they were neighbors over
Mm,
here. Then they opened up had a butcher shop, and I helped them to do a logo. So I did a logo, and I did all the
right.
window vinyl and stuff for them, and it was yeah, what a difference, to go into a place like that and actually talk and ask for the
Yeah.
type of meat that you want.
Yeah.
And one of the things during the summers was going and asking him for like barbecue kebabs.
Yeah.
And he would sit there and just pull meat out and like, chop cubes of, pork and beef and then
Yeah.
he, put sauce and stuff on it and just kind of
Mm,
shrunk right.
mm.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
best thing about a good butcher is you'll be like, "Hey, I'm looking to try out this recipe, and
Right.
I'm looking for this cut of meat." And they're like, "How are you cooking it?" No, no, you can't use a strip. It has to be this kind of meat for this
Exactly.
kind of thing. You have to do it this way, and 140 degrees, no more,
Right.
no less. You're
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, let me get my notes."
Yeah. For like 12 and a half minutes. 12 and a half minutes on one side,
Exactly,
hit it with the
exactly. And then it
paprika.
always ends up
Uh,
being like, "Hey, we make our own homemade sausages. Let me tell you about those."
exactly.
Always.
Yeah. Hey, quite a difference from that Ika experience when I asked the person if they could got that expensive big entrecote chunk, and I'm like,
I
oh,
know.
do you
I think they're still trying to sell that thing. Still trying to sell it.
yeah.
But vaccine one down, successful.
Yeah, and she got a different vaccine.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we kind of in the car ride on the way home. She showed me her card, and she got Moderna.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. So she was asking me about because she was next to me on the couch after I got my shot, but we were start talking about what are the like when did I start feeling my arm and the symptoms and things like that. But I was like, well, that was my
It's all personal,
Illuminati.
man.
That was my
Yeah, it's all
Illuminati
personal.
shot, right?
You don't know you're gonna get side effects until you get them. That's just
Exactly.
how it works. That's
Yeah.
just how it works.
Yeah.
But
But
all good so far. She's in the clear so far.
hey, so far so good. So we'll go ahead and keep an eye on her and see what happens. But there was kind of a little freaky happening when she was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we pulled up into the parking lot area. She jumps out, goes, and there are kind of people trickling in from a little bit left and right all over the place coming for their appointments. And I told her, you're going to go in, you're going to get the shot. And I had to sit there for 30 minutes. I said, I think you have to sit there for 15, just to
Oh
make
wow.
sure they want to, they want to make sure that everybody's okay when they leave. So she gets her
Oh,
shot.
okay. After you get it.
Exactly. So you get the
Ah,
shot,
okay.
and then
Okay.
you have
Okay.
to
Okay.
take like a 15-minute break. And there was actually a guy that had a reaction.
Like an allergic reaction.
We're still not really sure what kind of reaction it was, but
Because that's every time you go in the hospital, they always ask you that stuff. Like, are you allergic to anything, penicillin, and all that stuff?
yeah, because she said that the waiting area had the chairs kind of spaced out. So you got your shot, and then
Hmm.
they told you, where to go. So everybody's kind of spaced out in their chairs. And I guess the guy started having like convulsions, and then fell off his chair. But it seemed like he was okay by the time, but like a couple minutes later that he was all right. But
Jeez, man.
woo, I think it's
It
time
ain't
to
easy out there getting vaccinated, you know.
time to change the name of that vaccine. you know. Yeah, but you guys still aren't sure yet, right? About
No,
when?
I mean, Hinata goes before I do.
Yeah.
So I think they're still on those 45 and older. I think I saw
Okay.
on Instagram today because every day it's like another advertisement from 1177.
Right.
And I think it's 45 and older now. And it's just like, come on, man. Just come on.
Just
Come
do
on,
it.
come on.
Just do it.
Just,
Come
just,
on.
I'm not even that young, but just push it to 1990. Let's just get everyone wrapped up in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I heard that was kind of interesting was AstraZeneca. That I don't know if they've stopped in Sweden or because right now, I got Pfizer.
Again?
She got well. The thing about it is, I heard that you're supposed to get like the second shot is supposed to be the second shot of the vaccine that you originally, you stick. You can't really, all of a sudden throw some Sputnik in the mix.
Then you have to get 4.
But there was, but there was a friend of ours that got the first shot was AstraZeneca, and now they're waiting for the follow up. But they're
Just
not
waiting.
But they're not sure when that's going to happen. So
Jesus. Well, I knew that AstraZeneca was having problems with the EU, and they were getting into like fights back and forth with them in the UK and who's getting more and all that kind of stuff. And everyone tells me, like, everyone's asking all the time. They're like, how come you haven't gotten your vaccine yet? Everyone in the US can get it if they want it. I'm like, AstraZeneca, man. I don't know. Everyone's in court fighting with each other. I'm over here like, just stick me with anything. I hate needles. And I'm like, just stick me with anything. Give me a placebo at this point. I don't care,
it
doesn't
matter. It doesn't matter. Just do it.
Doesn't matter. I'll take the Costco one even.
Exactly.
Then you're like, immunized for like 45 lifetimes, right?
Absolutely.
Get that Costco. Get that Costco vaccine going.
Yeah, you could get it by the case. You could get like a, you could get
vaccinate
like
the whole neighborhood.
Just do it. Just get the restaurant pack. Yeah.
Come on, people, get it together.
Yeah.
Hey, so we were enjoying the beautiful sunshine today. We decided to ride the bikes over to this little park in the middle of Södermalm. It's kind of, if you're looking at a map, at Google Maps, then Medborgarplatsen, you go left, so west. There's this beautiful little like pedestrian thoroughfare that's like bikes and, for people walking.
Right.
But it's like all cleared out. It's below, it goes underneath all the crossing streets. Ooh. So you can just go for like a mile kind of thing.
Okay.
And then it's like every Forscola on Södermalm, I think, is in this one area. But right in the middle of it, in the middle of the street, it opens up to this huge park with this playground built to look like a pirate ship.
How cool.
Amazing.
How cool is that?
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Found it the other day, and then I'm like, oh, I have to save this for Dylan. So we took him over there, and as we come through to the clearing, passing the trees, and then it opens up to this pirate ship with kids everywhere hanging off everything, and there's like a soccer field and all this stuff. He's like, I just hear this. I was like, I got a macaw behind me,
Right.
A red-crested macaw.
Yeah. So Dylan saw it, and
he was loving it, every minute of it. But of course, like, he stayed in most of the time he stayed in the one little area that we were at. And there's like all this stuff to do. And he was just focused on the little things around him. I'm like, Dylan, it's like a whole giant playground. You can go do whatever you want. But he's like, no, I like this. These 3 things are the things that I like.
Yeah.
But man, before we left, we were like trying to get ready and figure out what different layers Dylan's going to need and all that, because he's on the bike. But, we're going to be hot. It's sunny. Sure. How much sunscreen, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, I hear this for like 30 seconds. And the first 10 seconds, I'm like, what in the world is that noise? I'm like, is it just like this? People don't have choppers in this country, like motorcycles, like chopper motorcycles. Okay. But it was kind of like without the it was like the throatiness of that. But then I was like, well, maybe it's a boat, because we have a ton of boats around us. But then after about 10 seconds, I'm like, no, I know this sound from Philadelphia. This is a military grade aircraft. Yes. I can tell.
Yes.
Because in Philadelphia, we have Willow Grove.
Right.
And they would have this big naval air show every year. And they would have, it was one of the biggest places where they had the A-10 Warthogs.
Okay.
And they were always flying over our house, especially like in the summer, because they're practicing their maneuvers and all that stuff. So like there's like a very specific tone that these engines have.
Yes.
And they can turn so fast that all of a sudden this goes
right.
And it disappears. And I'm like, and then it came back a few minutes later. I'm like, oh, someone's doing donuts up in the sky.
Right.
It was so weird. But like, I go outside and everyone's like, there's a few people on their balconies like, what is that? I'm like, where is
Everybody's
it?
going,
I know it's something up there, and it's quite low to be making that much noise, but I couldn't spot it.
Yeah. No, and I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but that
it was Adrian up in the sky.
Hey, no, but that happened to us down here too.
Yeah, really?
So I was down here
and
well, because like I heard the noise of what I thought was an airplane, but it stayed. It wasn't like a flyby, it was like a constant thing. And Lena was just coming back. She was coming from outside, and I asked her, I said, were those airplanes? And she was like, I said, there's got to be military planes. Because occasionally down here, they'll pass by. And she was like, well, I don't know if it was military planes. And then a little while after that, she must have seen it on like Aftonbladet or something. Because
really?
They said that it was the JAS. The JAS.
What is the JAS?
JAS are the Swedish military jets.
Oh, okay.
So they were flying.
Yeah, they must have been doing like practice maneuvers or something, because when it came back the second time, that's when I knew. I'm like, I don't know where it is, but it's definitely someone up there doing like a training.
So
running an engine to test it out or something like that, because it was the unmistakable sound. When you hear it and you know what you've heard a military aircraft before, it's unmistakable.
And that's one of those things. Now that this is Memorial Weekend, I can't remember when they did it back in the Bay. I'm pretty sure it was like Memorial Weekend, but the Blue Angels.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Angels used to go. They would have I don't know what you call that. It's not a performance.
Yeah, an air show.
Yeah, and there were a couple times where we went there, and there's nothing quite as awesome as
it's pretty wild
as seeing that up close. That will definitely give you some respect for air power.
Yeah, that's the same air base, the Willow Grove Air Base. Yeah. 1 year they had a B-2 bomber on display, so it flew over our house, and there was, of course, the local news makes it a whole thing, and they're like, at this time, there's going to be a giant cloud. It'll feel like going over your house. So then the whole next day, everyone's like staring up in the sky, like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Like staring into the sun. I can't see anything. No kidding.
Right.
But yeah, we had the Blue Angels there 1 year, and it was it's, you see some of their practice maneuvers and they're a little bit further apart, but when they do the real thing, you're just like,
crazy.
You got like, is there a string there or something? Because man, you're gonna crash into each other.
Well, and it's especially there because the place where you go and watch, or the most popular place that you go and watch that air show, is right inside the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, wow.
So the way that they start off typically is all of a sudden you see, the Blue Angels just come flying underneath the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's wild.
And then the flybys that they do, they completely sneak up and catch you off guard. And that's kind of that's kind of fun watching the reaction of little kids. Because they're like used to the sound, so that, you see the visual and then you see the audio.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with this, whatever plane it was, it's that military spec aircraft that all the sound, because like a commercial airline, it's so high up that the sound has time to echo out and spread out to ground level. But those jets, everything's behind it. Yeah. So it sounds like nothing until it's right over top of you.
And I think that one of the planes, I don't know, it's a big plane, but it's one of the Blue Angels. They have their jets, and then they have what they call Big Bertha. Big Bertha is like a huge transport plane, I guess, that flies. It flies with them, and it has and it has special rocket boosters on the back in order for it to it's pretty impressive. But Memorial Day Monday, and I believe if I'm not mistaken that today is is Memorial. It's like a Swedish Veterans Day.
Oh, really? Wow.
And that's why they had flags on all the buses today.
Aha. And we're about to come to that time of year where they do the rainbow flags, right?
Exactly.
Because we got Pride coming up too. So it's always that the flag goes up, the flag comes down, the flag goes up, a new flag goes up. Like, wait a minute, what? I'm missing. There's a red day. It's just the liquor store's closing soon. Let's go.
Exactly. Hey, you
There's
see,
flags on buses. We have a problem, people.
yeah, you automatically just like start running to system it. It's
Let
like
me in. Let
I
me
gotta
in.
go. I gotta go. There was a line this
Exactly.
morning
Oh
at
yeah.
system it. Yeah, I went down to go pick up. I broke my sunglasses. Went down to get some new sunglasses. But as I pull into the parking lot, I see a line down the block,
Oof.
and I'm sitting there going,
In Nynäshamn.
in Nynäshamn on a Saturday. The sun is out. Mother's Day tomorrow.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I hope you're prepared. Mother's Day tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So you know that people are going to be barbecuing, which they are.
Hot dogs, right? Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Lots of
Hot
corv.
dogs.
Lots of
dogs.
lots of corv.
All right. But
Yeah, we're gonna go over to a friend's house, and we got to pick up a little picanha at Willie's, and we're gonna do a whole. We're gonna throw down. Grilling season's here, baby.
Right,
You got to
nice.
make the most of it. We only get so many days.
Yeah. Hey, because if you look at the weather reports, they said that there's a heat wave coming up from like Spain. Like that's what we're going to be getting like this.
Yeah. So 2020, right? That's a heat wave.
But they were like next week, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Does that so? Swedish summer is next week. So,
Yeah, but it comes back after the rain at midsummer, doesn't it?
Like
I mean, the last couple of
swings-
years we haven't gotten
swings back
rain on
around.
midsummer. Yeah, but like August, it's already starting to get cool again. You're already feeling like that little like the need to sit out in the sun and like absorb heat rays because it's cooling down already.
Beginning of August is actually when I start slipping into my bah humbug mood already. I like bah humbug. Yeah. But I like reminding people after midsummer, it's like, okay, we're headed right back
It's
into
downhill
that.
from here, people.
It's like-
It's downhill from here.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. Hey, one thing I was going to mention when you had talked about going to the park and, Dylan like staying in one little area or being kind of focused in that.
Yes.
My mom told me when I was little and they took me to the zoo that I loved the pigeons. Like it was like
What? Because you couldn't see him anywhere else.
Well, no, it was just the other animals weren't. I wasn't interested in those. I was more interested in just the little birds that were, that were just kind of flying in. So I feel.
Oh, Rodney, that's so logum of you.
I didn't want to inconvenience the other animals. Make anybody.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, when we go to like Wisconsin and stuff like that, it's typically the one that gets the most reaction, I think, is the otters. But they go by so quick that you're like, Dylan. Never mind, dude. Never mind.
Hey,
Like it's gone already.
Otters are kind of one of those funky animals to try and figure out because they're cute, just the size of them. But sometimes they look like they got a little bit of attitude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would mess you up if they had the chance.
Yeah.
Like seals.
Yeah.
You can get you can die from a seal biting you. They have like a bacteria in their mouth. But they're a mammal.
Right.
So you have to there's like I don't know. Remember there was a viral video a couple of years ago of like some girl trying to feed a seal and then it like grabbed her shoulder with its mouth and pulled her into the water.
Yes, I remember that.
And everyone was like, oh, that's so funny, Sergi, right? But then like the news reports came out like, yeah, she had to be treated with a cocktail of antibiotics because there's seal bite is like it's a thing apparently.
So you mean like snake vaccines and things like that, but it's for like a seal?
Well, it's not venom, but they have like gunk all up in their mouth. You know what I mean? So they bite you, and guess what? Now that's in your body because they broke the skin. They have sharp teeth, man. They're wild animals, people. Wild animals.
It was like with my luck, it would be right after I got done eating surströmming. So it would be like not.
You're gonna smell for a month.
Absolutely.
Just live with it. Just
Absolutely. We hit the city this weekend. I think it was like last weekend. Last weekend or the weekend before, we were in the city and we passed by there was a line in the street, and we're sitting there and trying to figure out what store it was that all of these people were trying to get into. And
I love doing that.
Yeah,
I love doing that.
And as we got closer, I'm looking, and the average age of the people standing in line was, I'm thinking like somewhere between 15 and 18.
Sneakers?
No. It was vintage clothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was the one, what's it called? Uniqlo? Is that the way? Uniqlo. So you got,
but they're not vintage.
No, but it's right next to that. It's like Kungsträdgården and then Uniqlo.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm
pretty
next
sure to the TGI Fridays.
Yeah, well, let's see. I think it's by the XXL, like the sporting goods store.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But for one thing, I was looking at the line, and I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of cool, going in for vintage clothes. But as I'm walking by and I look in the window, I'm seeing stuff like that looks like stuff that I still have.
That you wear right now? So it's like, it makes that weird moment where like, am I suddenly in vogue? Am I on trend right now? Wait a minute, that's not vintage, people. hey, don't call that vintage. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, hey, you're gonna pay $450 for that T-shirt?
Man, I got that back in 1982 for $5. Let me tell you about it.
I got an original Pac-Man shirt, that I could. But it is a little funny, especially given that, like I said, they're like 15, 16.
Yeah, there was probably something on TikTok that then they all decided to go out and buy vintage something.
I have tennis shoes that are probably older than most of the people standing in that line. But it is funny looking at some of the designs. I was sitting there going, okay, I know what a Commodore 64 is. I don't know if I would be wearing a T-shirt with the...
I know what a Commodore 64 is too.
Vintage.
Let's be clear. I used to have the original Atari growing up with Pong, with what was the guy, the Indiana Jones one where you would like have to jump over the alligators and all that in like 8-bit technology. I don't even think it was 8-bit. It was like 4-bit or 6-bit or something.
Did he have a whip?
I think so.
To swing,
like you had
to do a thing.
You had to swing across the pits, and if you walked into anything at all, you would die. And you only get one life. There's no saving the game. There's none of that. This is Contra years, baby. You need that code. You need the cheat code to make it all the way through because you don't get anything else.
Yeah. Hey, do you play video games now?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I got the PS4. You can't have the PS5 now. Only like the hardcore people that like, I don't know. You have to be a Russian hacker to have a PS5 these days to like break through the line. The demand is so high. It'll come down in price later. They'll do like how they did to the PS4. Now there's a pro version with better graphics. So it never, like, just like iPhones, just like cars, it never makes sense to buy it when it's fresh off the factory floor.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it was that just went down in price. There was something that we saw today that had got, well, TVs were kind of coming down, but there was something I saw today, and I cannot remember what it was. It was like half the price that it was when it first came out, which I guess is common for...
Yeah, that's what happens,
for most stuff.
I mean, the thing is, too, the pandemic doesn't help with that stuff. Launching a new console in the middle of a pandemic, people have nothing else to do, Yeah. So they're like, give me that thing. And it's impossible to find. But the PlayStation's always like that. But Pitfall, that's what it is. Pitfall. That was the Atari
that was the game?
Okay. Yeah, that's that Indiana Jones game. Pitfall, for sure. For sure.
It's going to be a lot of people standing.
Some Pong, some Pitfall, the tanks. We had what's the other one? Space Invader.
Right.
Yeah, man. Them's were the days.
But Frogger. Was Frogger only...
yeah, Frogger. We had that one too. Basically, you think you're trying to beat a game, but it's basically waiting until a car runs you over. That's kind of really what it is. You don't win. You don't get anywhere. They'll just like keep whoever designed the game, I think they made like 200 levels, and like there ain't no way anyone's gonna beat this.
Yeah.
Like Tetris just keeps going. It just keeps getting faster. Like you just die eventually.
Yeah. But can you imagine being like the graphics, working with those graphics back then? Because I mean, it was pixels. It was probably like, okay, you have 5 pixels, you have to make a car.
Yeah, no, and the pixels were like the size of your thumbnail, man.
Yeah,
they were huge.
Yes,
huge.
Yes.
I mean, everything's pixels now, but it's like everything is so high def. It's like it becomes so small.
Yes. Yes.
And then, yeah, I remember when Super Nintendo came out, and those graphics were like a revelation. And then came along the Sega Genesis, and whew.
Yeah, we actually have. We still have. We bought it. Wow, it was a Nintendo 64.
Oh yeah, some GoldenEye.
I found it at my mom's. Yeah, and that was when everybody was like cylindrical. But that was Super Mario.
Three-dimensional.
Yeah, Super Mario, and I was up to like 2:00 in the morning trying to get those stars and stuff.
Man, brutal.
Yeah. Lena had to hide that game.
That's all the time we have for this week, everybody. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we need to wish a very happy, amazing Swedish Mother's Day to all the Swedish moms out there. We hope you had a lovely day, enjoyed the beautiful sunshine. Now you got a little podcast vibes, even everything out. So hope it was an amazing day, and we'll catch you back here next time for more 2 Guys, 3 Crowns.